Happy New Year, guys. So it's our first video of 2024, and I thought about starting it by helping you decide whether you should buy an EV this year. It's very difficult to escape from the EV phenomenon, whether you're on your phone, where you're going to be fed with some EV content, or whether you're driving around, where you're going to see an EV car. I'm sure you cannot help but just wonder, is an EV car for you? For me, I have to admit that I thought about it as well, but I have decided against it for now. Simply because a car, for me, a car represents freedom. That's my personal take. Fire me all you want. Okay, a car represents freedom. It is one of those things that helps you get places. Not only get places, but get there quick. So convenience is the key factor over here as well. And I can't tell you that the number of times where on an evening, for example, on a Thursday evening, my friends and family have just decided, you know what, let's go to Langkawi for the weekend. Flight tickets are too expensive because it's a last minute decision. So let's just drive there right now and catch the 8 o'clock Roro factory over to the island from Kuala Perlis or Kuala Kedah somewhere. With an EV though, that's probably not going to happen. With a regular internal combustion engine, that is freedom, that is convenience. Now I know what you're thinking, that you can probably do the same thing with an EV as well. Last year, well, just a couple of weeks ago, our colleague Timothy drove a Mercedes-Benz EQB to Penang. Now usually from KL to Penang will probably be between 3 to 4 hours. Guess what? He took close to 7 hours with the EQB. Why? Charging, bro. Because of the entire infrastructure that you have to stop to charge, you have to stop for charge. There's one idiot that probably is going to be hogging the charging bay, so you have to wait for that. You can deny it all you want, but this is a real issue right now. Yes, you can reach Penang. Yes, you can reach Langkawi. Yes, you can probably circumnavigate the Peninsula Malaysia. But you can also do it on a bicycle. It doesn't mean that you should. That's the inconvenience part. Anyway, should you buy an EV this year? If an EV is going to be your second or third car, then yes, by all means, you should. If you live a very routine life, every day, 7:30, leave the house, 5 o'clock, leave the office, come back home, go to sleep, next day, do the same thing. If you live such a life, perhaps you're a doctor, an engineer, an architect, whatever, then yes, an EV will suit you. But for me though, for example, I have no routine. I do not know how tomorrow is going to go. I know at 10 o'clock tomorrow I have an event. After that, somebody might say, hey, you know what, let's catch a quick coffee somewhere. So we'll probably go do that. And then after that, the client may probably call, can you please drop by to review this? So if I have a very unregimented life. So in that sense, an EV does not suit my lifestyle. If it's a third car though, then hell yeah, I would definitely consider an EV. But having said that, if you have decided that an EV is the way for you to go, which EV should you buy? Well, that of course will come down to your budget. So let's take this piece by piece and explore some cars that I have driven last year. It's just January 9th today. I haven't driven any EVs this year. So all these EVs I'm going to tell you about, I've either sat in or driven last year and was totally blown away by. So the BYD Dolphin, for one, is one of the key takeaways from last year, simply because it offered so much for so cheap. Prices for the Dolphin starts from just 99,900 ringgit all the way to 125,000 plus. And this actually is not a bad buy. Whether it's your primary car or secondary or third car, it's not a bad car. I have a friend that messaged me sometime during the third or fourth quarter of last year and asked me whether she should buy a Honda HR-V or a BYD Dolphin. She works in a bank, regimented lifestyle. So very, I tried my best to lead her towards the HR-V. I said, what if you get a boyfriend or a husband and you decide to just one day go to Malacca or somewhere just because you want to be romantic or something. BYD Dolphin, it's not going to let you be able to do that. Yes, 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 she said. Ultimately, she bought the Dolphin. So, yes, but I can't blame her because it's a nice car, right? There's no doubt. So it comes in two variants. You get the cheaper variant is priced from 99,900. The extended range version comes at 125,530 ringgit. So the standard range gives you 340 kilometers. The premium extended range gives you 490 kilometers, which is not bad. It has a 80 kilowatt hour DC charging capability, and AC charging is, while standard has 60 kilowatt charging. So not a bad deal. And judging by the sheer number of BYDs that you're seeing on the road, I'm sure you've seen it as well, you'll probably agree that it's been a success story for BYD in Malaysia. Continuing on the BYD theme, the other very popular model is, of course, the Auto 3. This is the car that started the BYD revolution in Malaysia. So this is a car that's definitely worth checking out. The design, well, when I first saw it, it was not bad, but now I find it a bit too subdued, too safe, too meh. You know, it's just one of those cars that you look at and it's like a Myvi, you know. And so it's a very vanilla design. So of course, again, it comes in two variants. The standard one is 149,800 ringgit, whilst the extended range one is priced at 167,800 ringgit. For the base model, you get a range of 325 kilometers, where else the extended range gives you 420 kilometers. Not bad. In my books, that's not bad at all, especially if it's your second, third car, or you're buying a car for your mom, your wife, to go to market and come back. You probably just need to worry about charging it once a week. Definitely the car to go for. So it supports 7 kilowatt AC charging, which is not that great, quite low. The standard is usually about 11 kilowatts. DC charging, though, it can support up to 70 kilowatt for the standard model and up to 80 kilowatts for the extended range model. 0 to 80% charging with your regular DC charger can be done in 45 minutes. Not a bad deal. It's a very nice car as well. I do have my my reservations about that guitar string on the door panels over there, though. Check it out, you'll know what I mean. Rubber in Malaysia never stands the test of time very well. Time will tell. And then after that, though, for those of you who like a bit of classiness and a bit of design to your lifestyle, you know, you like a bit of showboatiness and such, check out the Mini Electric. Now this is a car that doesn't do electric very well, but it does style very well. It's a very nice looking car. It's priced at 194,000 ringgit, which is quite expensive when you compare it to its China equivalents, you know, in terms of EVs. But you get things like a 12-speaker Harman Kardon sound system, some a typical Mini design, really looks good, feels good, and will get you noticed if that's your kind of thing. The drivetrain, though, somewhat disappointing, 184 PS and 270 Newton meters of torque, which is not very much as far as EVs are concerned. You will get a particularly small 28.9 kilowatt hour battery, and this gives you a range of 232 kilometers, which, yeah, not that great. But as far as style is concerned, it does it really well. Anyway, it has an 11 kilowatt AC charging, so if you have an 11 kilowatt wall box, that should get you up to speed in about 3.5 hours. If you have access to a 50 kilowatt DC charger, it should get you fully charged up in just 35 minutes. So not bad. In terms of charging, not bad, but it's just not going to take you very far. It's a great urban vehicle, though. It's good looking, it has all the features, it's built really well, and yeah, if that's your thing, then Mini Electric, 194,000 ringgit, definitely check it out. Now, the next cars on my list are from a brand that is particularly storied, it has a colorful history. I'm talking about Smart. Okay, Smart started with The history goes somewhat with Swatch watches back from the 80s. So the CEO of Swatch watches actually wanted to develop a car with the same engineering aspects of building a watch, as well as providing the customization options for a car, like how Swatch used to back then. Some of you around your 30s, 40s, and 50s will remember Swatch you used to be able to colorize them, and there used to be a bunch of options for the watches. So that's what they wanted to do. However, they didn't want to go at it alone, so they partnered. They reached out to Volkswagen, which initially said yes, but then a new CEO came in and kicked them out. And then ultimately they ended up in bed with Daimler-Benz. So long story short, they're now partially owned by Geely and Mercedes-Benz, 50-50. Geely develops the tech, Mercedes-Benz develops the design, as well as the marketing, if I'm not mistaken. So they have the Hashtag 1, which is their first model, Smart's first SUV, not Geely's first rodeo developing an EV, but they've done it really well. The first time I laid eyes on Hashtag 1, I was like, this is the EV to have. And if you're thinking about getting the Mini electric, I would say ditch that and get the Smart Hashtag 1 instead, because you get that same good-looking design, the same quirkiness, and a really well-built interior. I really like it. I just do not like the trimming. Okay, the Brabus edition has the gunmetal gray. The Premium and the Pro have, if I'm not mistaken, a silver or a white trimming. That tends to glare in the afternoon sun, especially here in Malaysia when the afternoon sun is directly right ahead of you. So that will tend to blind you. That's an issue for me. Anyway, you get three variants. Hashtag 1 Pro starts at 189,900 ringgit. It gets you 272 PS, 343 Newton meters of torque, and it will take you 315 kilometers before it runs out of juice. And if you run out of juice, it takes 22 minutes to charge up with a 150 kilowatt DC charger, which is going to be hard to find. Not many 150 kilowatt DC chargers. Anyway, the second in line, which is the mid-segment variant, is the premium variant, 219,000 ringgit. Slightly more expensive than the Mini Electric, but truly the car to have. If Brabus is a bit too expensive for you, of course. It also has the same output as the Pro, 272 PS, 343 Newton meters. However, it has a better range of 440 kilometers, nearly double that of the Mini. And then you can also charge it up in 30 minutes with a 150 kilowatt DC charger. And if you have a 22 kilowatt AC charger, you can charge it up in just 3 hours. Now take note that a 22 kilowatt AC charger is rare. It's very rare. So this is the great thing about the Smart Hashtag 1, because they can accommodate up to 22 kilowatt AC charging. The other cars that can do that are the likes of the Porsche Taycan, the Audi e-trons and such. So this is one of the key features of the Smart Hashtag 1. Now the next one, the Hashtag 1 Brabus, is my personal favorite. It's such a good looking car. It handles really well. It's just great to drive. It's great to look at. It has a 13 speaker audio system by Beats. Yes, that Beats that was developed by Dre, then later bought by Apple for $1 billion, I think. And this is a car to have in my books, because EVs, I'm still skeptical about their intercity traversability, but I know a lot of you do that. I know what you're going to say. Just don't unleash on me. 428 PS, 543 Newton meters of torque, a range of 400 kilometers, 22 kilowatt AC charging, again, 10 to 80% in just 3 hours, and then 150 kilowatt DC charging, 10 to 80% in 30 minutes. Definitely the car to have. Smart Hashtag 1 Brabus. For me, it's the ultimate EV, 249,000. Now we talk about premium EVs. One of the nicest EVs that I've driven is definitely the BMW iX, particularly the iX50. This is a car that totally blew me away. again, as I've said, that EVs I just don't do it for me. But hey, that iX though is such a nice car. That's why it's in my list today. So the iX50 is priced at 547,000 ringgit, slightly under that. Of course, you have an entry-level version, the xDrive 40, which is priced between 404,000 to 448,000 ringgit. So the iX50 is definitely more expensive. This is weird, the weird thing about BMW though, because you get all of the same specs as the xDrive 40, but the xDrive 50 takes you further because it has a bigger battery, a 111.5 kilowatt hour battery. Amazing, huge battery, right? But this gives you 523 horsepower and 765 Newton meters of torque. Just 15 years ago, these figures were supercar territory. Now you can buy these figures for less than 600,000 ringgit, which is just phenomenal if you ask me. You get a range of 630 kilometers, and check this out. Even though it has such a huge battery, it'll still charge up from 0 to 80% in just 35 minutes with a DC charger, and 0 to 100% with a 11 kilowatt AC charger box in 10.5 hours. So yeah, 11 kilowatt hour, yeah, kind of slow. DC charger works better for the iX. Now this is a phenomenal car. If you have the extra chunk of cash and you like driving, the iX50, check it out. Of course, it's the iX. There's the iX60 as well. It's more expensive, but it's even more ridiculous in terms of power. But if you do not like to drive, I have my final car for you, and that's the BMW i7. This thing is a moving theater. It's a moving cinema hall. Why? It has a 31.3 inch BMW Theatre screen system for the backseat passengers. What the hell, man? So it's huge in that sense. It's priced at 730,000 ringgit, and it's incredibly popular. You see it everywhere in the streets of KL, streets of Selangor, even Ipoh, Penang for that matter. It's hugely popular. It has 544 PS and 745 Newton meters of torque, a smaller battery than the iX50 at 105.7 kilowatt hour battery. It has a range of 625 kilometers, AC charging with 11 kilowatt AC charger, 0 to 100 in 9.5 hours. If you have access to a 195 kilowatt DC charger, incredibly rare, a unicorn practically. You can charge up from 10 to 80% in 34 minutes. You also get a 21 speaker Bowers and Wilkins sound system. This thing is truly a moving cinema hall, orchestra, whatever. This is a car to have. Why didn't I recommend cars like the EQS? I drove it, wasn't impressed, hence why it's not in our list. Why aren't there any Teslas? I have my reservations about Teslas, to be honest. Particularly that, if you're going to be spending so much, at least take care of me a little bit lah. Make sure that there's somebody that I can go to and speak to, and book my car, does the work for me and such. Because you're going to be spending close to 300,000 ringgit. Why can't they just take care of you? I know a lot of you Tesla fanboys are probably going to fire me about it, but I really don't care. If I'm going to be spending that much money, I want to be able to speak to somebody. That's it. And then, hey, I'm bald. It doesn't even come with a shade for the roof, right? So, not a good idea. I know a few of my friends have bought the Teslas, and they had put the tint. Does not work very well. So Teslas, yeah, and the Model 3, that signal, there's no signal stop, the left and right buttons on the steering wheel. Ferrari did it first many years ago, but Ferrari did it right. The right signal was on the right-hand side of the steering wheel. The left signal was on the left-hand side of the steering wheel. Simple, pure logic, which Tesla messed up. Anyway, should you buy an EV this year? The point of this video, if it's going to be a second and third car, yes. If it's going to be a primary car, but you don't have a life and you don't go very far, then yes. these cars that I just told you about, definitely check them out. I hear that MG, that iconic brand, MG, is going to be coming back into Malaysia with the MG4 sometime in the first quarter of 2024. I also know that there are going to be a bunch of new launches this year in terms of electric cars, particularly from China. So hold on to that. Will they get cheaper? I suspect so, simply because there's going to be a price war. And when this price war comes on, I think a lot of the European brands, a lot of the more established brands will probably get hurt. Also, of course, Toyota and Honda, but I have huge respect for Toyota and Honda for not doing the politically correct thing and jumping on the EV bandwagon. I think Toyota and Honda are doing the multi-pathway thing very well. You should, if you're going to save the planet, EVs are not the only way. You're gonna have hybrids. You're gonna have sustainable fuels. You're gonna have EVs. You're gonna have PHEVs. So I believe Toyota and Honda have done it right. The rest, politically correct, knee-jerk reactions, but still, EVs are very nice cars. Anyway, fire me in the comment section below.